Today we're going to talk about something that starts with the letter D. A word that no person will say in a civilized conversation. No. Get your head out of the gutter. We're going to talk about debt. Yes, a four-letter word, debt. So what is debt, and what do you do? How do you get rid of it? Is it bad? Is it good? What are the uses for it? We're going to discuss everything about this in this video. So please keep watching. Hi, my name is G and you're watching Life with G, a channel where I discuss all the ways to better your life and try to better my own life as well. So please join me on this journey that is called life and enjoy the upcoming video. So if you're anything like me, you were raised with the idea that debt is bad. Debt is not good, do not get into debt. There's no reason to be in debt at all whatsoever. However, when you got older, you probably realized that it's either not possible or simply not true. And what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is credit. To do anything in this world, to get a car and get a house, you have to have credit. Well, what is credit? Credit is essentially, in simple terms, the amount of trust that the bank puts in you so that they can lend you the money. Meaning the amount of trust that the bank says, okay, you're okay to lend money to. You're gonna give it back. So essentially what happens is if you don't have credit, while you do have a perfect credit score because you never took out credit card loans and stuff like that, you will get taxed and penalized by, oh wait, you don't have credit. Meaning we don't know if we can trust you. So we're gonna fault you on that. We're not gonna give you a lot of money. You're not gonna be able to buy that car that you wanted. Even though you did everything right, you're not going to be able to get it because, well, we don't trust you. And that is perfectly understandable. So how do you get rid of that? How do you get the car that you want? How do you get the house that you want? You have to build up credit. Credit is built up by building up your credit score, and that is done by having a credit card, and that is debt. However, you should not take out a billion credit cards and go on a spending spree. That's not what I'm saying. Don't misunderstand me here. With the credit card that you get, you use it essentially as a debit card. You buy something for $20, you must repay it at the end of the month. That way, the banks will know that you are a trustworthy lender, or lendee, I should say. That is how credit works in short. Also, it should be noted that it also depends on the length that the credit that you have and your credit score overall, meaning you should not overdraw it and stuff like that. But that's gonna be explained in a separate video about credit cards. Be on the lookout on that. Please subscribe. And that's gonna, as I said, is gonna be in another video. Now, okay, so that's credit. What about the actual debt? Well, the question about debt is also then, it has positives and it has negatives. Of course, there's a good thing about debt is that you can turn it into an asset. What do I mean by that? Take, for example, a house loan. It's a debt, quite a huge one too. Usually the biggest one that people get into in their life. However, if you have good credit and you get a good rate, you end up having an asset. You end up having a house, which you can use to either make a side business, for example, Airbnb, lending it out, stuff like that, or you have an asset that should normally, unless a 2008 crash again happens, should appreciate in value through time. What that means is that you end up buying something and you gain more money for it, one way or another. Hence, once again, a house loan, debt like that, I would not say that it's bad. And then also there's other debts, like if you get into frivolous spending with credit card debts. Once again, that was already kind of touched on in the section of credit cards. I do not recommend getting into a huge amount of credit card debt. It's really hard to get out of. Please do not do that. Please be careful with credit cards. It's a necessary evil, but be careful with it. And then there's also student loans. A lot of us live with the sheer reality of having student loans. Now, whether they're ethical or not, that's a whole other question. It's for everyone to discuss on that. You can feel free to discuss that on the comments down below. I will be reading those. However, student loans are hard to pay off, and they're usually for your education. Whether you use your education or not, that is up to you. You still have to pay off the loan. So the issue with that is that even if you have your education and you spend $100K on it and you don't work in your field, something happened, you still have to pay it off, not necessarily even if you have the income to do it or not. Hence, since that is actually happening and this is how society works, I would say try to limit your student loan debt as much as possible. I would suggest either getting scholarships, studying hard, or working through college, that way to acquire the least amount of student loan debt as possible. Because trust me, later on in life, that will save you a lot of headaches. Okay, so we shortly discussed of what is debt, what is credit card debt, what is home loans, what is student loans. Okay, but what if you're already in debt? How do you get out of it? Well, according to Warren Buffett, there's two ways. There's the avalanche method and there's the snowball method. So the avalanche method is usually when you pay off your highest interest debt first, meaning your biggest debt, your biggest chunk that costs you the most, you pay it off first, and then you slowly pay off your other debts. And what that creates an avalanche method where your debt starts costing you less. The other method is a snowball. And what it is that you pay off your smallest debts first, and then you start paying off your bigger debts, which means then your payoff rate kind of ends up accumulating, starting to grow, because you're not dispersing your money through all the little debts that you had. Both of these methods are good. What I would probably do, I would probably stick to the snowball method. That's personally, for me, probably the best one. However, in the beginning, once again, as I premised, try not to get into too much debt. Try to only get yourself something that you can afford. Meaning, do not take out credit card debts if you can't afford to pay them off. As well as when it comes to house and any other purchase or any debt that you're willing to take on, please calculate your finances. Make a budget first. You will always need a budget. You will always use it. As far as credit cards, there's going to be a separate video about that. There's where I will be discussing the best credit cards for the upcoming year, and I will link my resources down below as well. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to the video. I will try to discuss as many financial aspects as I can about everything, and I hope you enjoyed. My socials are going to be down below, so please like, share, and subscribe, and please leave a comment. Tell me what you enjoyed. Tell me where I can do better. We're always trying to better our lives here, so Let's do this.